Good morning, everyone. Today I'll be talking on glycolysis. It is a very simple topic on biochemistry. And myself, Dr. Jayabrata Saha, Assistant Professor, Applied Biology, Department of Applied Biology, USTM, will be presenting this. Okay. Okay. Now, this glycolysis, it is derived from the two words basically. It is glycos and lysis, which means sweet. Glycos means sweet, and lysis means breakdown or splitting. It is also called as embedded Maynard-Parnas pathway, because this was basically discovered by these three scientists, Embedded, Maynard, Parnas. Okay, so in short, it is also called as EMT pathway. Now, before glycolysis, you have to know that the digestion of the carbohydrate takes place. Okay, and in the digestion, the complex polymer of the carbohydrate, that is your starch and your glycogen, they are first broken down into glucose, and this glucose first travels into the blood, and this blood is taken into the cells, and they this blood basically contains your glucose. Now this glucose now enters into your cytosol, and here the process of the glycolysis happens. So in this process, this is a process of metabolism. It is a catabolic reactions in which the glucose is broken down, 6 carbon compound is broken down into a 3 carbon compound pyruvate. Okay. Now, as you can see in the slide that it is divided into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is a preparatory phase and phase 2 is your payoff phase. So phase 1 is basically 5-step reaction, and phase 2 again is a 5-step reaction. So I'll be talking about, see, this is the glucose. Glucose is a 6 carbon compound. It is converted into glucose 6 phosphate. Why we call it as a preparatory phase? Because here ATP is basically utilized, and they generally mobilize, and you can see that glucose is converted to glucose 6 phosphate. So glucose 6 phosphate now is converted into fructose 6 phosphate, and then fructose 6 phosphate is converted into fructose 1,6 diphosphate or bisphosphate. Here again you can see that one ATP is utilized, and this mobilization of your phosphate group, it comes into the position 1 of your fructose, so we call it as a fructose 1,6 diphosphate. Now fructose 1,6 diphosphate is converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So this 5-step reaction we call it as a preparatory phase, as because ATP is utilized. So ATP is utilized, and here there is a mobilization of your phosphate. So one step I just forgot, that here the glucose is converted into glucose 6 phosphate. So why we call it as a glucose 6 phosphate is because the phosphate basically comes into your position 6. So we call it as a glucose 6 phosphate. Now further we will call it as a payoff phase. Why? Because the energy which was will be given back in this 5 steps reaction. So glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate is now converted into 1,3 diphosphoglycerate. So here again there is a mobilization of a phosphate group, and it is your 1,3 diphosphoglycerate. Now 1,3 diphosphoglycerate, now here energy is utilized again. It is not, it is given back, so ADP is converted into ATP. So 1,3 diphosphoglycerate is converted into 3 phosphoglycerate. 3 phosphoglycerate is now converted into 2 phosphoglycerate. So there just it is a flick of position from position 3 to position 2. Now from 3 phosphoglycerate you are moving to 2 phosphoglycerate. 2 phosphoglycerate to phosphoenol pyruvate. So it happens with the help of your enolase. Now phosphoenol pyruvate, from phosphoenol pyruvate you just move to pyruvate. Here again ADP is converted into ATP. So this is your 10-step reaction of your glycolysis. Okay. Now this one thing you have to remember, that this is a aerobic process. That means oxygen is necessary. Okay, oxygen is necessary in this process, and here the glucose, which was a 6 carbon compound, is converted into pyruvate. Now this is a 3 carbon compound. This is the product of your aerobic process. Now in the anaerobic process you will get lactic acid in anaerobic process, and in case of microorganisms you will get ethanol. Okay. So this is in short the process of glycolysis. Thank you. Thank you.
थैंक यू बोल लेना भाई